the other day, we talked about this. It was the most wild story, and it keeps getting crazier, okay? We talked about this story about a guy who seems to be making up a story that he was kept as a sex slave by his hot boss over at JPMorgan. You guys remember? And again, there's an update. So this headline that you're seeing right now is not even the half of it. It gets like way wilder. So the headline last week was JPMorgan executive Lorna Hagini sued for sexually abusing brown boy Indian Jr., says report. And you had JPMorgan Chase that came out, immediately said, we investigated this. And there was we found absolutely no evidence to support the allegations. And in fact, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe they went to the man who was making the claim and they were like, back it up. And he was like, I'm not going to participate, which seems really strange to not participate in the investigation, but go so far as to file a lawsuit. So in case you missed it, I got to give the update. So let me give you the Cliff Notes version of what the original story was. So Lorna Hagini is the woman right there that you see on the right. We're supposed to believe that she kept this guy, Chirayu Rana, as a sex slave in 2024. I mean, listen, she's really pretty. I'm just saying, I feel like if she was going to have her pick for sex slaves, it wouldn't be that weird looking guy. So he says in the lawsuit, she drugged him with roofies and then Viagra. And I think we all know what the, we're supposed to believe happened next. I don't know if that's physically possible. I have no idea. But I think we all understand the implication here that she frequently called him her little brown boy. She was like threatening him to tank his promotion if he didn't comply with her sexual demands. She said things like, I own you, brownie. And my personal favorite that we talked about on the show last week, she grabbed her boobies and she said, I bet your little Asian fish head wife doesn't have these cannons. That in of itself, I'm like, nobody speaks like that. No, I'm sorry. It's just, pew, pew, pew. Your little Asian fish head wife doesn't have these pew pews. Woohoo. Like, that's not how people talk. But listen, again, there's more to the story. I want you to decide. I want you to hear the crazy updates and you tell me who is telling the truth, because she, of course, is denying the allegations. And like I said, JPMorgan, they internally reviewed emails, records, and devices, found no evidence of wrongdoing. Seems kind of like an open and shut case of a total weirdo trying to profit, because obviously the intention, look at that. What, you think that guy would ever lie to you? He looks like the sloth from Ice Age. He looks like Sid from Ice Age.
Wow.
Right?
That's great.
You can't unsee that.
Very Carson Beck looking.
You can't, oof, woof. That is not good for him. So in the lawsuit, we learned all these details. He filed it last week. He quickly pulled it, over what he is now calling a filing error. But that's just what he says, the reason why he pulled it so quickly. More likely than not, it's of course because everyone was trolling him online. He was subjected to being, in all of these memes, all of these people who are like, yeah, you're ugly, dude. There's no way that she did this. So you would think that he'd be like, all right, I shot my shot. I got found out, and I'm just going to quietly creep into the night and pretend like this never happened because now everyone in the world is making fun of me. But instead, he's doubling down on the allegations, because here's the update, guys. Alleged JPMorgan sex slave doubles down with new claims in bombshell lawsuit as he adds allegations of PTSD, a wild threesome offer, and a friend who heard him beg her to stop. Now, this guy's story was totally discredited by JPMorgan Chase. So now, all of a sudden, these witnesses, now they are anonymous. They're totally anonymous. You may not know who they are. You may not Whatever you do, you may not actually know the anonymous witnesses because they need to stay anonymous for reasons. And now all of a sudden, they're corroborating his story because apparently it wasn't just the fact that Lorna was like, birthday BJ for my little brown boy. How you like these cannons, baby? It wasn't just that. She also, this must have been what caused the PTSD. She was propositioning his friends for threesomes. Yep. And we all know how much men hate the idea of a threesome. Oh, that is traumatic. That is horrifying to every man in the world to propose that he have a threesome with a chick who's out of his league. Like, okay, I guess. So, according to the lawsuit, let me read to you from this. One alleged witness said they were staying at an apartment with Raina, the man, in September 2024 when they were awoken in the night by a woman who was, quote, clearly intoxicated and speaking loudly. Raina later identified the woman as Hajini, according to the statement. Short while later, I was awoken by Miss Hajini, who was completely naked, the witness wrote. Miss Hajini sat on the couch and lit a cigarette. She then asked me to come to the bedroom with her and, quote, join them. I told her no. She said, come join. I again told her no. The witness said Hajini then told them, you know, I own him. I own Rana, so you'd better come join. They again refused, and Hajini returned to the bedroom and closed the door, according to the filing. From inside, the witness said they heard arguing with Raina, loudly and pleading with Hajini to stop and leave. It became quiet. Then sometime later, Hajini came out of the bedroom and left the apartment, the witness said in a filing. Raina then emerged in a state of shock and embarrassment, according to the witness statement, claiming he had told them Hajini had repeatedly harassed him and forced him to engage in sexual behavior. Now, I am not one, I feel like I always have to make this clear. I am not one to make fun of actual sexual assault, but this is just like, this does not pass the vibe check for me at all, especially when you consider that we now know that this guy allegedly had been rehearsing this story for months, almost a year, because back in July last year, he was talking to a legal chatbot about the story. But curiously enough, in this version with the legal chatbot, the boss was a man and the company was Morgan Stanley. So just change a little bit of the details around. The legal chatbot, I don't think he realized was going to publish all of this afterwards. Oopsies. Ask a lawyer. Customer says, which was allegedly him. I was raped, sexually assaulted, harassed, and forced to do drugs by my former boss at Morgan Stanley. I was then retaliated against for seeking to move groups internally at the firm. And this chatbot says, I'm truly sorry to hear about your experience. It's important to address the situation. Could you let me know if you've already reported these incidents to any authorities or HR at Morgan Stanley? He said that, yeah, HR did conduct an investigation, but they ultimately made me sign a separation agreement. Oh, that seems like a strange thing that a company would be like, oh, she did all these things, sign the separation agreement immediately. That seems like a rather bold move for a company, a big company that doesn't want to get sued over something like that if it were in fact true. Now, the chatbot says, did the separation agreement include any clauses about waiving your rights to pursue further legal action or discuss the matter publicly? Yes, but I was forced to sign under duress. Oh, okay. Well, do you have any evidence or documentation related to the duress or the incidents that you mentioned? Yes, ample evidence. And then there you see he doxed himself with his name. Also, he went on to tell the legal expert that he says he recorded their phone calls. I can't wait to hear them. I also feel like there would have been at least a little bit of documentation if JPMorgan was going through records. Probably would find records of phone calls to his number. So I can't wait to hear these phone calls. Now, there's another part of this that gets a little complicated for Chi Arena, whatever the hell his name is, for Sid. We're just going to call him Sid for short. All right. It's a little bit, just a wrinkle. Well, apparently he faked his father's death to get 3 months of paid leave from his job. How do we know he faked his father's death, you ask? Well, because apparently he's the kind of son that the parents just want to get out ahead of, because the dad is out here doing interviews telling people what his son did. Let me give you this from the New York Post. Ex-JPMorgan banker Chirayu Rana pretended his dad was dead to get bereavement leave, but he's alive, and he spoke to the Post this weekend. This is wonderful news. What a miracle. Oh my gosh, his father, we thought this whole time, was dead. No, it turns out he's alive and well, but that didn't stop Chirayu from telling the bank his father was ill in fall of 2024. And then, so this was a whole lead up. He says, my dad's ill. I'm sorry. You may not make it. Oh, shoot. He died. He's dead. He's dead. I need to go to Virginia, where my parents live. I need to stay there for 3 months. I need 3-month bereavement leave. My dad is dead. My dad is dead. Please, I just need some time. I loved my father. Well, the dad actually just said to the New York Post, I don't know anything about it. He didn't talk with us or anything. It's a miracle. The dad's alive and giving interviews to the New York Post. I just find that I don't know, like, blast through this guy's credibility. I don't know how you come back from that. Now, we're also finding out, on top of that little slight problem for him, the guy that, he spent all of this time saying that she was threatening his job. She had control over whether or not he got promoted, because I guess she was his boss. And that was why he was in between a rock and a hard place. You find a girl who's out of your league to beg you to sleep with her, and like you're forced to. It's under duress because she controls your career within this company. Except, slight problem, the guy didn't report to her. She had no influence over his promotion, actually, because according to the New York Post, he never reported to her during his entire time at JPMorgan, and they actually were under 2 different managing directors. So when you pull up the chart, the internal organization chart shows that she had no direct reports even. She didn't have anyone who reported to her at all. So she was part of the finance team. Nobody reported to her. Why then would she be the gal who he's like, I'm just really scared. She asked me if she could give me a blowjob again, and I didn't have a choice. I had to let her do it. It's so dramatic. It turns out that's not true. She showed me her cannons and she grabbed them. It was terrible. She offered to have a threesome with me. I'm in therapy for it. It's horrible. That's all not true. That can't possibly be true. Now, I'm not even done. Because just to put just a little bow on this, there are internet rumors that he didn't even have a wife. Remember, I came to this entire story last week and I said, this is terrible because you're going to blow up this woman's marriage, family life. And now you're going to blow up your own. This man had a wife, was what we were told. This poor wife. Now, I don't know how the roommate factors into it, who was on the couch. And so how she was like at this guy's place, just smoking a cigarette naked. I don't know where the wife would factor in there. Oh, it turns out he doesn't have one. And allegedly, he wore a fake wedding ring. That's the credibility of the guy who's like, no, actually, you know what? I only pulled the lawsuit for errors and I'm doubling down and I'm filing this lawsuit. I guess he decided, well, if everyone in the world was going to be able to make fun of him, he might as well just follow through with it. I mean, you almost have to respect the follow through, Stephen. Like maybe it's just like, okay, that's dedication to the to the cause, I guess, right?
Man, I guess you just lie so much. You just like, well, let's just keep going. It's something will stick at some point.
Listen, once your dad finds out that you lied and said that he died, I guess it's just like, you might as well just roll the dice on everything. You might as well just roll the dice on everything. The poor dad's like, I don't know. He didn't talk to me about it. I don't know, but here I am. It's a miracle. I'm alive. I've risen from the grave. So we'll follow this lawsuit. We'll be following this very closely. And I actually feel bad for this woman because I feel like this guy is a giant liar. But yeah, I mean, like, she looks...
It's not fair. She didn't ask for this. She didn't even did anything.
I mean, other than the canon thing. Just kidding. Because I don't believe that she did it. And that's why I'm saying, like, none of the actual facts that we know about it, the internal organization chart, the fact that JPMorgan reviewed all of these things, this guy's credibility history, questionable credibility, all leads me to believe that he's just making this up for a payday. He's just hoping that they go, okay, we'll pay you this much to go away. We know that it's not true. This is how lawsuits work, right? We know, well, a lot of lawsuits. This is a problem with the system, is that people have weaponized it and they go, okay, we know none of it's true. We've already gone through our investigation, but okay, we'll pay call it $500,000 to go away. Is that like, will that be, you don't want to go through discovery. We don't want to go through discovery either, but it's going to be very expensive. We all know it's going to be very expensive. We don't want to pay. We're either paying upwards of $1 million, $2 million, however much it would cost to litigate this in court, or we'll just give you a payout that's going to be a fraction of what we would have spent on legal bills for this to go away. I hope they fight this because I want to see all of the discovery. I want to see all of the public documents. That, my friends, is going to be a blast. Bring your popcorn for that. And make sure that you smash the like button and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell. Do all the things. Comment. Let me know what give me what percentage chance do you think it is that this guy is telling the truth? Let me know in the comments, and make sure that you go over to our second YouTube channel at Sara Gonzales TX. Subscribe to that one as well. We are releasing exclusive content over there. We've got another H1B video that is on the cutting room floor. It is almost done. I don't want to over promise and under deliver, but it is set to come out very soon. So make sure that you are subscribed at Sara Gonzales TX so you don't miss it. It is being released exclusively on that channel.